and gentlemen, welcome to a new video. We are going to kick this one off with a little bit of a different style. So class is in session and we are kicking it off with mini cuts. So firstly, what are mini cuts? Well, compared to a typical cut or diet, they are shorter in duration and more aggressive when it comes to the size of the calorie deficit. So when we're talking about a typical dieting phase or a typical cut phase, generally they're 10 to 16 weeks long and you're going to be dropping body weight at a pretty moderate rate of 0.5 to 1% of your body weight per week. But when we compare that to a mini cut, generally we're only talking 4 to 8 weeks in duration, but we're dropping weight a little bit faster. So we're going to be in the range of 1 to 2% body weight losses per week. Now, why do we push it a little bit faster for a mini cut? Well, number one, because it's shorter, so you're not going to accumulate as much diet fatigue. So you can actually get away with dropping weight a little bit faster. And number two, when you're doing a mini cut, you're gonna be starting from a pretty high body fat range, which means muscle loss is just not going to be a risk for you, which means again that you can get away with pushing the weight loss a little bit faster. Now lastly, a mini cut, the idea is to get in and get out as quick as possible. So if we're going too slow with the weight drops per week, it's just going to extend the cut or the diet longer than is necessary. So why would someone want to use a mini cut? Firstly, to manage your body fat, keep body fat levels in check. When we are in muscle gaining phases, some body fat accumulation is going to happen along the way, and it is a necessary evil. However, once you have been bulking or growing muscle for 4, 6, 8, 10 months, that body fat level can start getting into a range which is, number one, doesn't look really nice, and two, can be pushing into those unhealthy ranges. We don't want to let body fat get out of hand. So by implementing a mini cut during your muscle gain or your bulking phase, we're able to just keep body fat within allowable healthy ranges. Next, we use mini cuts to potentiate future growth during bulking phases. Now, the longer we are in a bulking phase, the less efficient muscle gain becomes, the harder it is to gain muscle. And that's why you might notice that early on in your muscle gain phases, it might seem like the muscle is coming on really, really quickly and everything is sort of turning over nice in synergy. But once you start pushing into that 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 month mark, it just becomes a little bit harder to gain muscle. This sort of mechanism has been referred to as anabolic resistance. So by implementing a mini cut, we're able to just reset the system a little bit and potentiate that next phase of muscle growth. Thirdly, reset hunger cues. Now we know that when we're bulking and when we've been bulking for long enough, our hunger cues or our hunger signals start to deteriorate. And this can become a problem because eventually we just have no appetite and become really, really difficult to get in the necessary calories to grow. So by implementing a 4 to 8 week mini cut, nice and short, we're able to reset those hunger cues, appetite comes back, and then when we recommence the bulking phase, the hunger is there and it's much easier to get in the calories to grow. Now, lastly is sort of, I put a question mark on this one because it is something a lot of people like to claim when it comes to mini cuts, and that is resetting or improving insulin sensitivity. Now, it is correct that the more body fat that we accumulate during bulking phases, the less insulin sensitive we become. And this might be one of the reasons why muscle gain in those later phases of the bulk might be a little bit more difficult. So by having the mini cut, pulling some body fat off, we might just be able to improve that insulin sensitivity again to be able to assist with the partitioning of nutrients when we go back into the bulk and to facilitate a bit easier muscle gain when we recommence the calorie surplus. Now, who should use mini cuts? When should they be used? If you haven't been in a surplus for at least 3 months, you have absolutely no business doing a mini cut. Now, this is a major problem I see with people trying to gain muscle. They start their bulking phases, they get in 8, 9 weeks, they see their abs get a little bit softer, their muscle detail gets a little bit more blurry, and they think, oh, it's time for a mini cut. This is a very bad idea. Muscle growth takes a very, very long time, and it happens very, very slowly. You just haven't built much muscle in 8 to 9 weeks. I don't care what you've done. So if you're always mini cutting after every couple of months of bulking, you are guaranteed to just be running on the spot. And every time you cut back down, you're gonna have no new muscle left on. So mini cuts are only for people that have been in at least 3 months of a consistent surplus. And generally with most of my clients, for most people, mini cuts won't happen until that 4, 5, 6 month range of the bulk. Now, you shouldn't need mini cuts 3 months, 2 or 3 months into your bulk, as long as your rate of gain has been appropriate. But the problem is, a lot of people are really shit when it comes to bulking, and they start putting on kilos per week, and then of course 2 months into the bulk they look sloppy as shit, and then they think, oh okay, I've got a mini cut. So do your bulking right, nice conservative gains, and then you shouldn't need a mini cut until the sort of that 4, 5, 6 month point of your bulking phase. Now, of course, if you are deep in your bulk and the hunger is just not there anymore, and it's impacting your ability to get in the calories to grow, that can be a good time to implement a mini cut. Like we said, reset those hunger cues, bring the appetite back, and you'll have an easier time getting in the food. Now, the last thing to look for is basically body fat markers. So if you've got to the point in your bulk where you don't have any visible ab detail anymore, you've lost all signs of vascularity, you can't really differentiate the muscles, like you don't have any muscle detail or separation, those are pretty good signs that body fat's probably creeping into those higher ranges. Muscle gain probably isn't that efficient at that point. You probably don't want to gain any more fat, because it's going to mean that getting in shape is going to be basically hell. So once you do get to that point where visually those things are starting to occur, that can be a good time to implement a 4 to 8 week mini cut and just clean up that body fat to set you up for your next period of bulking. So received a lot of questions on mini cuts, so I hope that has answered most of them. Now, I just knocked back my cold brew Starbucks, probably the most expensive addiction that you can have in Bali, but nonetheless. So we are ready to hit the gym. So I'm going to get changed, packed up, and we are going to smash a shoulder session. What is up, guys? Just wrapped up a shoulder session. Today didn't exactly go to plan. We went to one gym which was like a 20-minute drive away. I had approval to film there prior, Bull Gym, and then we got there and they said actually no, and we were prepared, we were going to pay as well. We actually already paid the fee, and someone said nope, actually you can't film. So pre-workout was already down the hatch 20 minutes before we left, and then we had to drive another 20 minutes back to another gym just so we could get the workout in. So I was pretty frustrated going into the session. So I didn't really want to talk too much during the workout. We just sort of locked in and got it done. But all things considered, it was a really good session. So I might actually drop in the exercises and the sets that we did with text on the screen, so you guys can actually get an idea of what we did, because I know you guys do like when I talk through the workout, so you can copy them. Now I am just getting down my post-workout shakes. I've got 2 scoops of whey and 2 bananas, so roughly 50 grams of protein and 50 grams of carbs, and this is literally the gym's right there. We just walked out and got it. Now I did want to talk quickly about the anabolic window and the truth behind it. Is a myth. Do we need to be getting shakes in immediately after the workout? Basically, when I was getting into lifting, one of the first things that we were told was protein shakes are the answer, and that the second you leave the gym, you need to get in a fast absorbing whey protein to take advantage of this supposed anabolic window. And basically it was claimed that this anabolic window was very short, somewhere around 30 minutes, and then if you didn't get protein in this 30-minute window, that you were missing out on some potential gains. Thankfully, some more research has come out in recent years, and now we know that the anabolic window is more like a barn door, so it's much larger than we initially thought. And now we know that as long as you're getting in a protein dose either side of a 4-hour window around your training, then you're basically maximizing all of the anabolic potential from your workout. So for example, if you're having a protein feeding 1 hour before your workout, you train for 2 hours, and then you get in your next protein feeding within an hour after finishing your session, you're good to go. You're within that 4-hour window. But one thing that we need to take into account is that there's certainly no benefits to waiting to consume protein after your training. Like a lot of people say, oh, the anabolic window is bullshit. You don't need to be having protein shakes and blah, blah, blah. That maybe will be true, but it's certainly not going to help your results by waiting 2-3 hours after your workout to get in some protein. So another thing that we need to consider is that what is the sort of research cohort that was used in these studies that was saying that sort of the anabolic window doesn't have any benefits? Well, I can guarantee you that it's not bodybuilders training to failure for 2 hours per session. And I am willing to bet that for guys that are really trashing themselves in the gym and pushing to their limits for 90 minutes or 120 minutes per session, I'm quite willing to predict that there's probably going to be at least some upside for those guys getting in some protein a little bit quicker than potentially like a general pop or recreational dieter, just because they are incurring a lot more muscle damage within that workout, and they would want to mitigate that quite quickly, as opposed to someone who's just going in, doing a few pump sets, trying to look a little bit better in their underwear. But that's my little rant on post-workout nutrition and taking advantage of the anabolic window. I am someone that likes to get in something quite quickly because, like I said, there's certainly no benefits to waiting or delaying that first protein feeding post-workout. And even if it's only going to provide 1 or 2% benefits that's not being picked up in these research studies, I'll take that because this is easy for me to do. Hope that helps, guys. What's up, guys? It is Saturday night, and you know what that means. It's free meal time, and Tonight we are doing it right. I'm feeling pretty freaking depleted after that stressful day, plus the workout, plus the fucking around and traveling longer than we needed to. So we got the serious sushi spread going down here at Tiger Sushi. So talking you through it, I've got 6 pieces of salmon variety nigiri. We've got some raw salmon, we've got some aburi and some aburi with what looks like spicy mayo. I've got a small spicy shrimp roll, some mixed spicy tuna on a bed of fried rice, miso soup because that is always major key. I've got a katsu teriyaki roll, which is like a sweeter roll with some crunch in the middle. And then this roll is called the Red Dragon roll. So it has some shrimp tempura in the middle and then raw tuna on top with like some crispy potato, it looks like, and it's got some avocado and some spicy mayo in there. And then I've got this iced green tea. This is my 3rd one so far because I don't know, there's some magic in this drink, but it tastes damn good. So we got a lot of food here. I sort of just wanted, there were a lot of cool things on the menu and I sort of wanted to try a few things. So if I don't eat it all, I'm sure Panday will hoover up the rest. But I'm freaking starving. I think I might even be a bit low blood sugar. So we're gonna get into this and devour some sushi, the food of my homeland.